I know it's been a hot minute since my last bite size review, May 1st, in fact, and it's June 19th. I've been behind, but I have not been not watching movies. I can tell you that much. I I've seen 4 movies in the past month and a half, month and 2/3, and I'm going to talk about them now. I've been just kind of I've been busy. Yeah, I've been busy with things. People visiting, stuff like that. And I've kind of fallen away from movies again, but I've been getting back into them. I've seen some interesting things recently, and also another reason I haven't been watching a whole lot of movies. My external hard drive is taking a crap, so that's put a damper on things when you have movie files on there. Anyway, I Love Dogs. This movie came out last month, I think, and we went to go see it in theaters, my wife and I. We're both Wes Anderson fans. I've seen all of his movies except for Darjeeling Limited. It's the one that continues to elude, but I apologize. We saw Isle of Dogs, and I gotta say, I quite enjoyed Isle of Dogs. It was not boring, which is what I was hoping for, because I saw the trailers and the just things, the hype surrounding this movie, kind of going into it, and I was hoping it wasn't going to be Moonrise Kingdom again, because Moonrise Kingdom isn't super eventful. It's probably one of his most low key movies because not a whole ton happens in terms of like big plot moments. But Isle of Dogs just like keeps moving. It's about as eventful as Life Aquatic is, which I think is a good thing because Life Aquatic feels like it goes all over the place and goes to so many different locations. It does so many different things that it almost feels longer than it actually is. And the same happens with Isle of Dogs. Lots of different sets. The whole isle is traversed like in a big adventure. So it is eventful and it's compelling and it's interesting from start to finish. Yeah, yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because, it's typical Wes Anderson fare. A little bit of his dialogue gets on my nerves these days because he sort of, he plays it pretty monotone with the actors, and everything is really subtle and underhand delivered. Um, Mostly with the stop motion movies. He really plays that up. He played that up in Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was somewhat strong in Grand Budapest, but you still had room for actors to act, whereas this is much more articulated and Wes Anderson-y. But I still liked it. I still liked it. The stop motion looked great. All the visuals were great. Very stylized, very OCD pleasing because Wes Anderson just loves to have everything perfectly symmetrically framed, as you know. Um, I can't really think of much about it that I didn't like. It's just like a ton of characters, like pretty much all those dogs on that front cover you come into contact at some point. They all do different things, have different purposes. Um, yeah, it's just very good, very interesting. I'm sure you guys have all heard about this movie, plenty. So I don't have a whole ton to say. Um, I'd love to see Wes Anderson get back to roots a little bit. I guess I don't know. I feel like he's gearing his way towards like this super specific style and scheme. Whereas when I think of like my favorite movies of his, it's like Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and Royal Tenenbaums, which are like a little more unhinged, right? Like Bottle Rocket is probably my favorite movie of his, which is a pretty unpopular opinion, I think. But um, I kind of like early Wes Anderson personally more than later, even though I think later stuff, um, movies are probably better. Like it's hard to say if like movies like Life Aquatic and Fantastic Mr. Fox, Budapest, Isle of Dogs are better than Bottle Rocket. I don't know, hard to say. I still think Royal Tenenbaums is his best movie and is one of my favorites. It's just, I think, is one of the most clear um, and interesting character movies he's done. Um, yeah. So that's about all I have to say about I Love Dogs. I love Dogs. Is pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if I would say I like it more or less than Fantastic Mr. Fox because I saw Fox like twice in the same day when I first saw it. I was like, I love this movie. I have to see it again. And then I watched it again like an hour later. And I've never done that before. So that was kind of like my first introduction to Wes Anderson because I was like, wow, this guy. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see what he does next because for what I did like about this movie, I didn't love it. Mainly because the subject matter just isn't interesting to me. Like the dogs and the Japan thing don't really turn my crank at all. So, um, yeah, I'm curious to see what subject matter he tackles next because I have a fondness for Moonrise Kingdom because of the subject matter, like the being on the island and like the scouts and everything like that. And I like Life Aquatic for that same reason because of the subject matter and the visuals and just the way he presents this whole atmosphere and environment world that the movie is set in. And I just didn't quite get that from Isle of Dogs. But um, like I said, personally, like it, don't love it, but that's about where it stands. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to do things and stay clear.